Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Tech Talks with NASSCOM Insights. I'm Nirmala Balakrishnan, Research Practice Lead, IT BPM and Industry Trends at NASSCOM Insights, and I will be your host for the day. In today's session, we will discuss the key themes from our monthly industry bulletin Tech Bytes. This document, published between the 10th to 12th of every month, aims to keep the readers appraised of what is happening in the Indian tech industry through data and trends, and also highlights insights from our reports. Joining me in today's sessions are my colleagues Neha, Jain, Vandhna, Babu, both senior analysts in NASSCOM Insights, and Diksha, Nerurkar, practice lead. Thank you, team, for joining. I will quickly talk to Neha. So I'll begin the discussion with Neha, who has worked extensively in the patent space. So Neha, patents filings and patents that are filed and granted is an important metric to analyze the innovation appetite of a country, specifically companies. So I also know that NASSCOM released its third report in a series to analyze the shift in patents filings by Indian tech firms in the USA. So I would request you to share briefly the key findings from the report. How has the patent landscape evolved in the last 2 years, and some unique use cases that you would like to call out? Also, do throw some light on any. I know that you're coming out with a new report in the next few months. So if you can just throw some light on the report and what it is going to cover. Over to you, Neha.
Thanks, Nirmala, for the question. What we saw in this year's report is that the thrust on IP creation continued, with over 9,500 patents being filed in the US by India domiciled companies during the period 2015 to 2021. This registered an increase of over 40% from 2015 to 2019. Technology patents continued to be the lead segment in this period as well, with more than 65% of the total patents filed during 2020 and 2021 were coming from this domain as compared to 55% in 2019. In terms of, the last key trend that we have seen over the last 2 years is that the tech patent landscape has continuously evolved, favoring the emerging technologies. And what we saw in our report this year, that with over 50% of the patents filed during 2015 to 2021 are coming from various emerging technologies. This also indicates, that majority of the tech patents are now coming from emerging technologies. Previously they were yet to touch that majority number. Now, among the emerging technologies, if we really have to look at the top or the major technologies that are witnessing a lot of growth, then we saw AI patents have witnessed significant increase of over 2x in 2015 to 2021 compared to 2015 and 2019. Other emerging technologies which have witnessed significant uptake includes IoT, cloud, and cybersecurity. In terms of use cases, we saw in AI a lot of applicability of machine learning in patents, which continues to be seen across healthcare, where it is used to study and monitor patients. There is a lot of application in software applications, business analytics, text and data mining. On the cloud side, we see a lot of focus on cloud management, which is again seen across software application, networking, and business administration. Interestingly, among IoT patents, we see a lot of uptake of sensors, and I think COVID is one of the key driver where we have seen sensors being used across healthcare, smart devices, smart home appliances, home automation, and industrial applications, and so on and so forth. What we see is, we see a lot of usage across connected devices across a number of segments. Now, just to answer the last bit of the question, for our next report, what we are planning is a deep dive on the tech patents being filed in India to build an understanding on how tech innovation is shaping up in the country and which are the key segments of focus. So what we will do in this study, which we expect to release by end of this financial year, is to look at the tech patents landscape filed in India. Now, in terms, for the audience here, which is looking for more insights, I would request everybody to go on NASSCOM community and download the India Patents Report. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. That is really interesting and looking forward to your report. I think we'll really look forward to the insights that will come out specific to what is happening in the India patent space. I would request Diksha. Diksha Nerurkar, she leads a cloud advocacy program, and very recently we published a report on cloud strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships in the cloud ecosystem are emerging as a key lever to unlock business value both for tech providers and customers. So, in this context, Diksha, can you share some briefly the key highlights from our report, and also let us understand what is the strategic relevance of these partnerships, what is the value proposition, and some examples that you can showcase, which will help drive go-to-market strategies. Over to you, Diksha.
Thanks, Nirmala. As you mentioned, strategic partnerships with hyperscalers and the platform players is going to play a significant role in converting cloud services opportunity into top-line growth. So we did this research report to explore various partnership-related themes, including what is the partnership strategy, what is the role of partnerships in the organization, and what are the key metrics that are being tracked. What does the organization structure of partnerships look like, and what are the business models that are being followed? Also, we've focused on identifying key challenges that companies face when managing partnerships, and also a set of key imperatives, basically call to action for stakeholders to follow. So I'll very briefly summarize the key findings. In terms of the opportunity, largely we expect the share of revenue from partnership driven business to double. So by 2025, I think we expect that share to grow to between 40% to 50%, and currently it is at 20 to 30%. In terms of maturity, all the SIs we spoke to, all of them mentioned that they have a very well-defined partnership strategy in place, and they also have a very well-structured approach to managing this partnership. So basically, they follow a tiered approach from level 1 to level 5, with 5 being the most mature of partnerships and the most strategic of partnerships. Most of the SIs have an average of around 50 partners, but they also follow an approach where there's a disproportionate focus on strategic partners, basically companies that are in the level 4 and level 5. And not only this, but SIs are also having a very similarly structured approach in identifying winners of tomorrow, basically partnerships of the future. So what are the companies that are the best fit, keeping in mind the next 5 to 10 years keeping in mind the next 5 to 10 years. As the maturity has increased, the role of partnerships in an organization is also evolving. So from a traditional function like being a reseller or a certified implementation partner, now the partnerships are focused on building joint IP, joint go-to-market, or even jointly exploring new geographies and new opportunities. So basically building a business together for each other, and at the same time joint ownership of business goals and its success. Players, especially system integrators, are setting up dedicated teams with P&L responsibility. So there's a huge focus on capability building on partnership specific skills, and largely companies are building capabilities either through certifications, mergers and acquisitions, or joint ventures. These are the three main pillars for capability building. In terms of, when it is also equally important to measure the success of partnerships. And so companies broadly are focusing on 5 key parameters to gauge the success. The first one is in terms of sales and pipeline that is being built, so joint targets. The second is sales in terms of consumption driven revenue that is being generated for partners. The third is in terms of delivery, which is competency development. The fourth is in terms of co-creating solutions and IP. And finally, joint marketing. So joint PRs, events, workshops, joint thought leadership articles, case studies, etc. And finally, in terms of challenges, I think I'll focus on the three most important challenges. The first one, of course, is how do you maintain neutrality across partners? The second one is navigating complex partnership organizations. And finally, in such a crowded marketplace where everybody is trying to partner with everybody else, how do you differentiate yourself? So those are the three main challenges. And finally, all of the points that I mentioned are largely from a system integrators or a hyperscalers perspective. But what is in it for the end customer, right? So from their standpoint, I think what these partnerships bring in is they get the best of or the most relevant of technology solutions. These solutions are often end-to-end, so complete solution, and therefore it brings a whole lot of business value to the customers as well. And in that sense, it is a win-win-win situation for all three. So my request again, like Neha said, this report is available for free for all our members on a community page. Please feel free to download and read it. You'll find more details there. Thank you.
Thank you, Diksha. That was really comprehensive. Is there anything you can share about any upcoming projects that you're working on in cloud?
Yeah, in fact, we've just completed a report and we are working on launching a report on the future of cloud and the opportunity for India. I think this report will again be available next month. And the approach is, why is cloud a mission critical technology for India as a country, and what business value it brings to India as an economy? That's what we've explored in this report.
Looking forward to reading that. Thank you, Diksha. My last question is to Vandhna. She's our lead analyst in the ER&D segment. So Vandhna, the month of April saw some very interesting acquisitions, partnerships, and global expansions by certain players, specifically in the ER&D space. I know there were some very key acquisitions that happened. So can you please elaborate on the same and specify its role in the overall scheme of things?
Yes, thanks, Nirmala, for that question. And yes, as you rightly pointed out, the engineering R&D companies in the new financial year have started off really strong with many acquisitions and partnerships as well. So this has been done to bolster their capabilities in the engineering space. And they are doing not only to grow in certain specific verticals, but also to expand to newer markets and geographies as well. So I'll take some examples as well. So, for example, recently Cyient acquired Grid Consulting to bolster its consulting practice in various engineering verticals like metals, minings, and energy. And then, of course, synergize all of it together with its existing digital transformation and engineering capabilities. So, and also in the same month, it also acquired Cytec, which helped to enhance its position in the plant and product engineering sector, and of course energy as industry as a whole as well. And they are really focusing with this acquisition, they are really focusing on clean energy and also expand their footprint in the Nordic countries as well as Europe as well. And not only these acquisitions, but a lot of activity is also visible in the contracts and partnership space as well. So L&T Technology Services, LTTS, has signed $100 million contract with Joint Air Mobility and this specifically pertains to electric air mobility, such as electric air taxis, etc. So a very, very interesting contract and a very, very interesting new arena as well that they are experiencing and exploring. So some other also include Infosys and Rolls-Royce, who are jointly launching their aerospace engineering and digital innovation center in Bengaluru. So also, in addition to that, I would also like to share that, recently we have NASSCOM has also recently launched an engineering R&D report, and it is called the NASSCOM Deloitte Engineering R&D Pulse Survey. So I'll just share my screen. So, this NASSCOM Deloitte Global Engineering R&D Pulse Survey, it provides a comprehensive view on how the ER&D function in enterprises worldwide are evolving, and how are they prioritizing their technology agenda. So the geographies which are covered are North America, Europe, and also APAC regions. And this report also includes trends on digital engineering and global CXOs and their role on how their in-house GCCs, that is Global Capability Centers, and the engineering service providers, what is their role in their companies. And again, as already previously shared, this report can again be downloaded for free from the NASSCOM community website. So thank you.
Thank you, Vandhna. The report that you mentioned, I think, will be really apt because we know that location analysis is something which everybody wants to understand, where to expand, and so I'm sure people look forward to this. So anything else in the pipeline that you would like to talk about that you're working on?
So yes, we also, are working on something very interesting, is that we are also coming up with a POV on electric vehicles. So especially with the thrust and with the, with the focus on sustainability and ESG by various companies. And it has become an agenda for the companies which they are actually looking forward very seriously. So a new POV on electric vehicles is also in the pipeline, which would be released in the month of July. So again, that can be downloaded from the from NASSCOM's community website.
That also sounds like an interesting topic. Thank you so much, Vandhna. So with this, we come to the end of today's discussion. Thank you, Diksha, Neha, Vandhna, for joining us. For detailed reports that we discussed here, do check our community page, and we will again join you next month with some more interesting insights. That's it from our NASSCOM edition of Tech Talks. Stay tuned for more insights in the tech industry and also join our YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Till then, it's goodbye from everyone here at NASSCOM Insights. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.